Okay, thank you, Boy Scouts. For those of you who do not know me, many of you do know who I am, but I'm Steve Ecker. I'm an attorney here in town, and I'm also the president of the Sugar Grove Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which means also that I'm the guy who drew the shortest straw when it came time to announce the officers. Just kidding. In all seriousness, though, it is my pleasure and privilege to present Meet the Candidates Night tonight. The Chamber is not all just about business. We believe that it's about bringing business and the residents together for the betterment of the community, and that's exactly, tonight is a perfect example of just that. Before we get started, I would like to send some special thank yous out. Mary Edith Butler, who's on the Chamber Board and is an officer, has been in charge of this whole thing, her committee. We wouldn't be here without her. She's put in countless hours of work. I don't see her at the moment, but if we could all give her a round of applause for her effort. Additionally, I'd like to recognize and thank Bo Smith of the Elburn Herald, our co-sponsor tonight. Bo's going to be the moderator of our question and answer session later on this evening. And the Elburn Herald has been kind enough to provide us with advertisements. So thank you to Bo and the Elburn Herald. And none of this at all would be possible without the help and hard work of our executive director, Sherry Baum. Thank you, Sherry, for all the work you put in. I'd like to also thank Tom Evans, who's going to serve as our timekeeper tonight. Thank you, Tom, for volunteering. Finally, I want to thank our only financial supporter, which can be found on the back of the program, a company called White & Ecker PC. I don't know who those guys are, but thank you. I hear they're pretty good attorneys. Okay, so the way this is going to work is that all candidates will be introduced and given the chance to come up to the podium and make a timed statement. Candidates are going to be called upon in alphabetical order. Candidates in contested races will have 1.5 minutes to make their statements. Candidates in uncontested races will have 1 minute to make their statements. After all the candidates have been introduced and made their statements, there'll be a special question and answer session for those running for the township supervisor position, the village trustee positions, and the village president position. Reminders to the audience. There are a lot of candidates, and we have a full program tonight. So just so that we're not here until midnight, please hold all of your applause until the end of the program. Also, please do not interrupt the candidates. Speak to the candidates while they're making their statements or heckle them. No matter how you feel or what candidates you support, all of our candidates tonight deserve our respect, so please be respectful. Reminder to all the candidates, we have a lot of candidates tonight and a full program. So, just so that we're not here until midnight, please try to stay within your allotted time frames. I beg of you. I don't want to have to come up here with a giant hook. The timekeeper will be, a yellow card is going to indicate to you that a minute has been used up at that point in time. When you see the red card, that means that your time is up. So yellow card means for those with 1.5 minutes, time to start wrapping things up. Red card, if you see it, if you're not finished, please wrap up at that point in time. Finally, I would be remiss if I did not read this. The Sugar Grove Chamber of Commerce and Industry is a nonpartisan, non-sectional, and non-sectarian organization and takes no part in, nor does it lend its influence in the election or appointment of any candidate for public office. As such, the comments and views expressed during tonight's presentation are strictly those of the candidates who utter them, and they should in no way be construed or interpreted as the comments or views of the Sugar Grove Chamber of Commerce. Darn lawyers. Okay, so without further ado, let's meet the candidates. We will start with the Sugar Grove Fire Protection District trustee position, and we'll start with John J. Gudendorf, Jr. And candidates, if you wouldn't mind, come up these stairs to begin. When you're finished giving your statement, continue across the stage and exit through that door, and you can sit wherever you please at that point in time. Thank you. That doesn't count towards your time. Okay.
Good evening, folks. I appreciate you all showing up here tonight. I've been a resident here in Sugar Grove for going. Better? Okay, I'm sorry. I've been a resident here in town now for 43 years. I've participated in many different functions, community functions. One of my big objectives is to try to hit all of the meetings in town. I think it's been about 4.5 years now with the fire department. I've taken a real interest in it. They fought several battles financially. And many a time I've wanted to say something and never had the ability to do it. And I just would like to sit on the board to have my piece in being able to say my few words to some of the subjects that have come up. And with that, I would just like to say thank you for you all coming again. And again, my name is John Gudendorf, Jr. Thank you.
Now I have to bring the microphone back down. Next, we have David E. Linden.
Good evening. Welcome tonight. We moved to Sugar Grove in 1975 with my wife, Lynette, and 2 sons, Stephen and Roger, who both graduated from Canelan High School. I believe it is a privilege and an opportunity to serve in our community. I volunteered and was asked to serve on the Public Works Advisory Board, which I did for 20 years, checking and watching the well houses and maintaining the lift station down on Patricia Street. In 2000, my son asked me if I would run for trustee since he was a fireman at the time, and I told him that I would. So in 2001, I ran, was elected, was asked to run for a 2nd term, and was elected. During this term, I worked with Chief Kunkel and Wayne Parsons on building the new firehouse. I think the best part was having input from all our volunteer firemen at the time. The board also at this time leased a ladder truck because of the larger homes and the bigger buildings that we were building. The board has been under budget the past 3 years. We have some previous tasks that I've worked on and would like to finish with this term. I would appreciate your vote on April 9th. Thank you very much for coming tonight. I appreciate it.
That reminds me, I was supposed to announce at the beginning that early voting starts March 25th and runs through April 6th, and then the election, of course, is April 9th. So thanks for reminding me. Next, we have Cheryl Wojciechowski.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cheryl Wojciechowski. I've lived in Sugar Grove for 18 years. I'm married. I have 3 kids. 1 is in college and 2 are in the high school. I have volunteered for many positions in Sugar Grove, but 2 that are very important and close and dear to me are the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts of America. Along with those, I've also volunteered countless hours at the elementary school level. I feel that to be in Sugar Grove, it is a nice village and to keep it safe. I'm a very conscientious, committed person who works well with others and listens well and can make informed decisions. I have a strong desire to serve my community, and my children are grown, so I have more time to volunteer now. I would like to be on the Fire Protection District to keep the community safe and hopefully build up the community with the safeness that we have, and offer our village the best service, emergency service. I think times are tough right now, and it's necessary for us all to work together as the committee. A priority to working with the village of Sugar Grove and the village of Montgomery and the Canelan School District, as well as other fire districts, working with the staff at Sugar Grove Fire Protection District to secure potential funding opportunities would make a great way for us to save money and keep us going. Thank you.
Next is the position Sugar Grove Park District Commissioner. Sean W. Carmody is not here tonight, but I wanted to announce his name. Turning then to the Sugar Grove Public Library District Trustee position. First, we have Robert S. Bergman.
Thanks very much. Appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself. I'm Robert Bergman, been a library trustee in this district since 1998, 15 years. We've done quite a few things, all of us together, built a new library, had some management problems. I believe we've solved the management problems, but and we have an excellent director who, together with our treasurer, has worked very hard to get us on budget. We are now on budget to open 6 days a week instead of the prior 4. So we believe that our things are going well. We hope that you agree. If you do not, we'd certainly appreciate hearing from you so that you can help us to determine what would be the next best thing to do. Thanks very much.
Next, we have Louise M. Kaufman.
Good evening. My name is Louise Kaufman. I've lived in Sugar Grove for over 13 years, and I am running for a trustee position on the library board. I believe that the trustee position should be filled by people who are singularly devoted to the best interest of the library. They should be passionate advocates for the library and should have no other agenda. I ask the voters of Sugar Grove to put such people on the library board at the next election. Most importantly, I ask the voters to take the time to write in Pat Graceffa on April 9th. I've never met anyone more passionate about or dedicated to the library than Pat. She deserves our support and a seat on the board. Thank you.
Next, we have Edward A. DeBartolo.
Good evening, and thank you for being here. My name is Edward A. DiBartolo, and I am a candidate for the Sugar Grove Library District. I reside in Montgomery. I am married 50 years. I have 2 grown children. I am a retired employee from the state of Illinois with the Lottery Marketing Division. I ask you for your support, and I will do my best, if I am elected, to maintain the problems that are being solved with the board. And I thank you.
Next, we have Pat Graceffa.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pat Graceffa, and I have lived in Sugar Grove for 12 years. I am running as a write-in candidate for the Sugar Grove Library Trustee 6-year term. I am a lifelong library supporter, an education advocate, and I love to read. My 12-year participation in the Sugar Grove Library Friends Group has given me access to the library staff, the library collection, and most importantly, to our library district residents. So I will not be new to the workings of the library or its board. This year, our beautiful library celebrates its 50th anniversary, and many things have changed in that time. Our library must keep up with those changes, and it will require the commitment of time, effort, and the desire to make sure that we stay at the top of our game. I promise you the commitment of my time, my effort, and my desire to make sure that every one of the 15,000 residents who live in our district are proud of the library and your library board. Thank you.
Next, we have Anthony R. Oliver.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. My name's Anthony Oliver. I've been a resident here for about 15 years now. Even though in my day job, I am an architect that specializes in designing and construction libraries, over 21 libraries in the last 20 years, I had no desire to sit on a library board, even though I'd seen many library boards. But I was astonished to see how this library board was acting, and I was one of the protesters, and I was appointed to the board, and for 1 year, I'm now running for the remaining 4 years, and looking forward to working with a library board that has the best interests of the community and the patrons at heart. Thank you.
Next, we have candidates for the Waubonsee Community College District number 516 trustee position. First on the program, although not in attendance today, is Richard Bodie. Next, we have Emmett Bonfield.
Good evening. My name is Emmett Bonfield. I'm running for the Waubonsee Community College Board of Trustees. I have a vision to improve the graduation rate from the current 47% to achieve a greater graduation rate. I also would like to produce a job-ready workforce. I would like to ensure fiscal financial responsibility to the taxpayers. I would like to increase the transparency so that you have more public involvement. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Richard Shorty Dixon.
Hello, my name is Richard Dixon, and I go by Shorty. So if you want my attention, you call me Shorty. I'm running for the Waubonsee Community College Board, and I have lived all my life in the area, which is about 8 miles south of Waubonsee's Sugar Grove campus, near the town of Bristol, Illinois, which is in Kendall County. I graduated from the University of Illinois and did graduate work at Northern Illinois University, and then taught school at a little town called Hebron, Illinois. I'm a retired insurance executive. 2 partners and myself owned and operated an insurance agency in Yorkville, Illinois for over 25 years. I've always believed that everyone should be involved with community service, and that's how I got involved with Waubonsee Community College. And have been on the board, and I've been on the Bristol Kendall Fire Department board, and I've also been on the Kendall County Emergency 911 Executive Board. I, I feel that, that's, okay, thank you.
Ironically, I don't go by Shorty, but people call me Shorty anyhow. Next, we have L. Michael Conan, who is actually not in attendance today, I don't believe. And then Isaac Count DeMoney Wilson. We have no Count DeMoney. Okay, so we will now move on to the Canelan CUSD number 302 Board of Education trustee position, starting with Cheryl Krauspe. Sorry.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cheryl Krauspe, given 1 minute when I could write a book. I have lived in Sugar Grove and Elburn for 30 years. My 2 sons have both graduated from the Canelan School District. I'm currently retired after the blessing of having 35 years of distinguished service in public education. I've served on your Canelan School Board for 2 previous 4-year terms. They have been extremely divergent 8 years. We started out with great rapid enrollment and growth, and the last 4 years have been focused on cost containment. Serving as your board president for the last 3 years has challenged me to provide leadership as well as much time and energy toward providing the highest quality of education possible for this community's children within our limited resources. I've been honored to receive recognition from the Illinois Association of School Boards, naming me as a Master School Board member for my hours of extra training and commitment to quality government. You can take pride in Canelan. Our work is clearly moving the district forward in meeting our mission to graduate all students from Canelan college, career, and community ready. I'd value your support in April for my 3rd and last 4-year term. My work isn't quite finished yet. Thank you.
Next, we have Pedro Rivas.
Hello, everyone. Some of you said thank you for being involved. Thank you for being here. I've been in this community for 20 years. As an example, and I'm part of you as well. As an example, can I see a show of hands in this room of those of us that are taxpayers? Should be everyone. Along with that, obviously, there's real estate taxes. It should be everyone as well. There's 72+% of taxes that come to our school district that are handled through the school. I selected to run for the school board because, like you, I care about our children's education, and I will make sure our funds are spent wisely, providing a good, solid, quality education that affects our community at large, including our property values. So don't hesitate to reach out to myself or any other school board member or the school administration with any questions. Vote Pedro. Thank you.
Next, we have write-in candidate Veronica Brule.
Hello, everyone. My name is Veronica Brule, and I'm seeking your to write my name in as a write-in candidate for the school board. You might ask who I am, why am I running? I have a doctorate in education from NIU. I've taught at DePaul, Roosevelt, Kishwaukee Community College. Currently, I have 4 children. 3 of them are in the district. I'm very involved. I'm a chair for the Citizens Advisory Committee. I'm a chair for the Canelan Foundation, and I'm also involved with the Finance Committee. So like Pedro, we serve on the Finance Committee. We understand where as taxpayers, where our money is going. We ask each one of you to get involved if you'd like to, but right now I'm really seeking for you to write my name in as School Board of Education. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Sugar Grove Township Road Commissioner. Greg L. Huggins is the candidate. He's not here this evening. So we now turn to Sugar Grove Township Assessor and Laura E. Ross.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. I've been the local assessor-elect since 2005, and I am absolutely honored and humbled to be a public servant for this community. We've all been through some challenging times with the market values declining, job loss, and all we see is taxes go up every year. I strive very hard to be dedicated to each and every one of you, and I always look forward to communicating with you. I have information in the basement. I have open houses every month on Wednesday at the end of each month. My office hours are 8 a.m. until any time in the evening, weekends as well. Right now, we are working on uniformity and equity. It's a challenging time also for us in our office. We have 9,100 of you and only one of me and a couple of staff. I really enjoy the opportunity and working with all of you, and my hopes is legislatively that somehow we can free some of these tax levies that come through every year, and I'm getting the red signal. So please contact me at any time. I'm available. My door is always open. Thank you.
Next is the position of Sugar Grove Township Clerk. Timothy Cobb is not with us here tonight, so next I will present Philip A. Salagi.
Hi, I'm Phil Slaggy. I'm a candidate for Sugar Grove Township Clerk. I'm a 20-year resident of Sugar Grove Township. I'm married. I have 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren. I grew up on the east side of Aurora, graduated from East High in 1971 and NIU in 1975. In 2008, I retired from the city of Aurora with 22 years of service, 15 of those years as superintendent of parking, where I managed 5 city divisions, drafted and administered city budgets, supervised over 30 employees, and interacted with virtually every city department, including the mayor and city council. I also had the opportunity to work with outside government agencies, including the city of Naperville, Metra, and IDOT. Currently, I work with my wife and daughter in our family retail business, A&E Vacuum in Aurora. I'm running for this position because I enjoy public service, and I believe I have a great deal of experience in government operations management that I can share with the township board. Thank you for coming, and I would appreciate your vote on April 9th.
Next are the positions for the Sugar Grove Community House. We have Sharon Elburn.
Most of you know me as Sherry Baum, but my name will appear as Sharon L. Baum on the 2013 consolidated election ballot. I'm a candidate for the Sugar Grove Township Community Building Manager/Trustee. I have resided in Sugar Grove Township for over 35 years with my husband, Dan, who has been a resident for over 60 years. Built in 1929 for the purpose of serving residents, the community building belongs to the taxpayers and offers a multi-purpose location for community and personal use. I am vested in the community, recognize the history and the important role of the building, and I am committed to help with the preservation and maintenance of it, while maintaining financial accountability to the taxpayers. I have been a part of, fully support, and plan to continue communication between the trustees, residents, and other community leaders. With appreciation, I would like to thank current, dedicated, and retiring trustees Lil Adams and Stan Schumacher. I plan to serve with the same dedication. Again, my name is Sharon L. Baum, and I would appreciate your vote on April 9th. And thank you for coming.
Next, we have William Willie T. King, Jr.
I wasn't going to participate tonight because there's 3 people running for 3 slots, and so I thought I'd had a good chance of winning without being here. But I thought it would be important that I would come and tell you what I think about the community house. When I see this building we're in, I see more than a building. I see a center of the community, a place that gives this community identity, and a place that has been past generations have enjoyed and future generations need to enjoy. And that's the challenge, to maintain the building as it's been maintained up till now. So that's why I'm running. I look forward to that challenge. I look forward to working with Sherry and Jerry, and looking out, we have big shoes to fill. They talked about Lil Adams and Stan Schumacher, also Tom Adams for a long time, and Elaine Fox have all been very good stewards of our building, our tax dollars here, and taking good care of this building. So I appreciate everyone coming here tonight, and thank you.
Next, we have Jerry J. Murphy.
Good evening. I'm Jerry Murphy, and I have the pleasure of serving on the Community Building Board of Managers now. We maintain and operate this beautiful building that you see yourself in. My family and I moved here in 1985, which kind of makes us newcomers still compared to some of the other candidates. But we greatly appreciate it here. We live in a farmhouse down on Baseline Road and love being in the township. For my background, I have a certificate in not-for-profit management from North Park University. I'm also working towards my master's in public administration with Keller Graduate School. I've got 15 years of experience in property management when I worked in the real estate industry before going into the not-for-profit world. And I currently now manage a not-for-profit tax-supported entity called the Mental Health Board. And we manage $1.6 million of taxpayer money buying and utilizing the mental health, developmental disability, and substance abuse services for Southern Kane County. So I'd like to continue on this board. It's been a pleasure serving with Lil and Stan, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, next up we have the position of Sugar Grove Township Trustee. First we have Lee A. Drendel.
Good evening. I'll try to keep the glare down a little bit out there for you. I'm retired of the fire department. I had 24 years in the fire department. I have a wife, 2 grown children. I've lived in town pretty much 27 years, but born and raised in the area. I need something to do with my time. I enjoy being active in the community, doing things. Looking forward to working with the guys at the township, getting to know how the system works, and hopefully keep things going down the right path to saving money for everybody all the way around and working together with the rest of the community. Thank you.
Also for Township Trustee, candidates Scott Hester and Michael J. Fagel are not here tonight, so we'll move along with Laureen J. Geary.
Hi, most of you guys know me as Lori Geary. I'm a write-in candidate. I actually have to be written in as Laureen Geary. I've lived here since 1996 with my husband, Kevin. I saw that there was 2 open positions, so I decided, you know what, I can actually help you guys. I actually work for PNC Bank as a mortgage analyst. Part of my love is the community. You guys have seen me at Corn Boil. I did Holiday in the Grove this year, which was a lot of fun. I hope more people come out to help us. But I'd like to help with the senior center. I think there's some things we can do with that also. I love the community house, which we also help with, and I like to see what we can do with the transportation. But I also believe in open, honest government. And if you guys have any questions, if I get elected, I'd like to be able to answer those for you. And I do believe in being available for our township and the people who vote us in. We need to be available and answer your questions. And I hope you guys do vote for me and write me in on April 9th. And thank you guys all for coming and taking the time out of your busy schedule. Thank you.
Next, we turn to the Sugar Grove Township Supervisor position. Starting off is Harold Harry Davis.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know me, me and my wife moved out here over 20 years ago. Love the area, thought it was a tremendous place to raise our children, and it has been. Have nothing but good to say about the school districts and Waubonsie College and our neighborhood. I've been on the Sugar Grove Township Board now for 2 terms. Was appointed to the supervisor position back in January. Would like to be voted in as that position in April, if those of you choose. It's a challenging position. I like the challenge, and I've had a lot of fun, met a lot of really great people, and I think there's a lot of work left to be done, and hopefully all of these taxing bodies will begin to work together a little more effectively, and we can all save money in the end. So appreciate your vote in April, and have a nice night.
Next, we have Scott Jessman.
Hi, my name's Scott Jessman. I'm the 4th generation of my family to live in Sugar Grove Township. We have farms, we have family businesses, and I got appointed 3.5 years ago to be on the board. We've watched a lot of changes happen at the township level. We've corrected a lot of things that should have been. When we grew up, it was to do the right thing and be accountable to those that are elected. When I walk in, it's what's best for the township. It's not necessarily what's best for Scott Jessman. At the end of the day, we welcome encouragement, we welcome suggestions on how to improve the area. There's a lot of things, as Herald said, we could do together, the bodies and the residents. The senior center is doing a lot better. Historical Museum's working, the community house should have a better board. I want this position. I'm available. I'll answer questions. I'll work to make sure it's as good as it can be. Thanks for your support.
Next, we have Kurt Karras.
Good evening. I'm Kurt Karras, and I have some good news for you and some bad news. The bad news, it's March. The good news is summer's coming, as this great artwork shows. I'm not really a public speaker, so I'll make this quick. I have a consulting business in Sugar Grove. I've been operating it since 1993. We work with mom and pop shops. We work with medium-sized companies, $10 million in revenue, 50 or 60 employees. I've worked with every type of company you can think of. I have a triple major from Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm certified from the University of Illinois as a public accountant. I have my MBA from Northern Illinois University. I have, like I said, my office is right here in Sugar Grove, and I would like to get the accounting system working much better than it is right now for the township. And I feel that if we have accurate information, we can, I'm going to make it real quick here, we can make better decisions. From what I see, people that have good information can make good decisions and do things that are good for the future of Sugar Grove. So I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
And next we have Tom Rowe.
Thanks, Steve. My name is Tom Rowe. I'm running for the Township Supervisor position. I've been a resident of Sugar Grove Township for the past 20 years. I'm currently the longest serving member of the Township Boards, having served 12 years as the clerk and most recently now as a trustee. I recently retired after a 36-year career in Parks and Recreation. 30 years with the Fox Valley Park District. I was the manager of the Prisco and the Eola Community Centers and the original manager of the Vaughn Athletic Center. I spent the last 6 years at the Warrenville Park District as the superintendent of recreation and the safety coordinator. I decided to run for this position so I could continue to serve the residents of Sugar Grove, utilizing my experience in local government at both the Park District and the township level. I can assure you that I have the time it takes to fulfill the responsibilities, and I will dedicate myself to this job. My major priorities for the new term is to increase and support senior programming, revisit transportation services for seniors, and to get our financial house in order. That being said, I want to thank the Chamber and the Elburn Herald for putting this on and the invitation to participate, and I hope you'll vote, consider voting for Tom Rowe on April 9th. Thank you.
Okay, now we move on to Village of Sugar Grove trustee. And to start us off for the trustee position is Robert Bowler.
Good evening. My name is Robert Bowler. I've been married to my wife Sandy for 33 years, a resident of Sugar Grove for 27, and your village trustee for 16. Tonight, I think you'll be hearing that a lot of things people want to change retail growth in order to attract business in Sugar Grove. That more rooftops, higher densities, reduced impact fees, relaxed building codes, and less open space to give development the edge. I believe that we can maintain our inherited open space by keeping the impact fees that we have. The village needs to be competitive but not mortgage our future. I also believe we can convince the commercial industry that the Village of Sugar Grove is a wise investment into the future and that our architectural building codes are meant to stand the test of time. It matters to me how we shape our community, how much open space we preserve for the generations to come. I believe smart growth is professionally planned, that the impact of growth does not become the burden of our existing residents. In a past edition of the Daily Herald, Assistant Editor Amy Mack paraphrased it well when endorsing the philosophies of Village President Shawn Michaels, myself. I also believe Trustee Rick Montalto fits in this. And I quote, "Given Sugar Grove's location, the development will come without sacrificing the stringent standards and fees that make this a top shelf community. If the quality of life means more to you than the quantity of life, I would appreciate your vote on April 9th.
Next, we have Gail Deja Schultz.
Hello, and I'm Gail Deja Schultz. I've lived in Sugar Grove for about 7 years now with my husband, Carl. He's a former U.S. Coast Guard and also a Naperville fireman. We have 3 children, and 1 is at Canelan High School and 2 in John Shields Elementary. I am currently the Director of Special Events with the Epilepsy Foundation, and I'm responsible for all the business development as well as fundraising to meet our financial objectives. I am an advocate for seniors and a member of the Kane County Senior Resources and a past board member. I've been involved with the Illinois Senior Spelling Bee as well as Senior Services Associates. I am currently working with a developer to also assist in bringing senior housing to Sugar Grove. I also support women in business and not only have been a Canelan WINS member, but the president for the last 2 years. I've also had the great honor of assisting our state representative in writing state legislation. We are involved in the community, and I am an active member of the Sugar Grove Corn Boil, the American Legion, and various other community-based programs. I believe in responsible growth for Sugar Grove and a common sense approach to streamline our government processes. Sugar Grove is truly a great place to live, work, and play, and I believe that I'm the perfect candidate to assist us in a great tomorrow. I'm asking for your vote on April 9th, and thank you for having me tonight.
Next, we have Sean Herron.
Hello, my name is Sean Herron, candidate for Sugar Grove Village Trustee. I think that I'm a great candidate for this position because of my experience in business as a teacher here in Canelan and with my 10 years service in the United States Army. My experience in business is I worked for a Fortune 500 company. I was an account manager responsible for managing 2 $15 million territories. I think that's important because as we grow here in Sugar Grove, part of my job with that company was to write specific business plans for each store in my territory. So as business plans are brought to the village, I can translate those and read those. But also, as a teacher, I have experience collaborating and working on a team with other people, and I believe that teamwork is important for this position. And in the Army, also teamwork and service to my community and to my country. So I believe those are all great characteristics for this position, and I would appreciate your vote on April 9th. Thank you.
Next, we have candidate Stephanie Landorf.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Landorf. I've moved here about 9 years ago with my husband Mark and my daughter. We chose Sugar Grove because of its location. The access to 88 for commuting for work, it's close to Yorkville, where I have family. I decided to run for village trustee this year for many reasons. I believe in open and honest, accessible government. As a working mother, I know how hard it is to attend board meetings. Other communities televise their meetings, and I'm not really sure why we don't televise ours. I'd like to see meetings put on the village website, maybe in a webcast format, so that residents who are unable to attend meetings can still watch the meetings and know what the board is, what rules they're making. I believe in growth. I believe that it's encouraging to see the businesses that have come to our town, but I believe we do need to see more. We need to broaden our tax base and help create jobs in our community. I believe in the infrastructure needs to be improved. The roads, the sidewalks, flooding issues all need to be addressed. I may not have the political background some of the other candidates do. I've worked at Liberty Mutual Insurance Legal Department for the last 14 years. I love our community, and I just want to make sure that our community grows and help the village with the issues that it's facing. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Next, we have Rick Montalto.
Good evening. My name is Rick Montalto, and I'm seeking re-election as a trustee for the Village of Sugar Grove. 4 years ago, I stood before you and described my educational background, my master's in management, my 31 years in emergency services, my community involvement in school music and sports boosters at the schools, local church activities, coaching of youth sports, my 7 years on the Village Public Safety Committee, and my 5 years as the chair of the Village Police Commission. None of that has changed, with the exception now that I have added 4 years as Village of Sugar Grove trustee and all of the committees and duties required of that position to my resume as a candidate. 4 years ago, I also told you that some of the issues I wanted to see addressed were improvement of our roads, the flooding in Mallard Point subdivision, improving the flow rates and quality of our water supply, getting retail and industry to invest in our community to lighten the tax burden on our residents, and making local government more user-friendly for the residents and business owners, along with working hard to open lines of communication between the various governmental bodies so we could work together to find solutions to problems facing us. I am happy to say I believe your current village board has accomplished all of these issues and many more during some of the most economically challenging times this country's ever seen. There are many more issues we need to address over the next 4 years. I would encourage you to stay after the questions tonight to meet the candidates, discuss those issues. I would also encourage you not to replace what works with what sounds good. Your current village board and staff are not just about the rhetoric. As a team, we have proved that we can move the village forward while keeping a balanced budget. Please cast your vote this April for what has proven to work.
And last but not least, before our question and answer sessions, the position Village of Sugar Grove President. First, we have Kevin Geary.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Geary, and I want to be your candidate for Sugar Grove Village President. My wife and I moved to town here in 1996. where we were out on a home scouting project and had driven through Sugar Grove many, many times. And we had always commented what a wonderful community Sugar Grove is. As it happened to be, a trailer was put up at the top of the hill saying that they're going to build homes here. My wife and I said, this is where we want to be. We love Sugar Grove. Sugar Grove is such a great community. My wife and I are involved in just about everything. Corn Boil, Holiday in the Grove, Kurt knows Little League was early on when my son was playing Little League. We got involved in Sugar Grove. I have concerns with the direction in which Sugar Grove is going, and I have 4 key areas that I think we can improve on. First is open and honest government. I believe that broadcasting meetings is an important thing, gets people involved, and other people understand what's going on with the community. The second thing is diversifying the tax base. Everyone is complaining about how expensive their taxes are on their property, but there's no relief in sight. There's even talk of an additional $500 being put on the tax bill. I'm being given the red card. Thank you.
Next, we have Sean Michaels.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sean Michaels, and I've been the village president for the past 13 years. Under my leadership, I work hard every day to make Sugar Grove a better place to live, work, and raise a family. Working with the village board and under my tenure as village president, we have reduced expenses by 25% since 2008. We have worked hard to diversify our tax base by bringing in commercial development throughout the town. We even created 100 new jobs last year alone. We've added McDonald's, Walgreens, Rush Copley, Convenient Care along Route 47. We worked with Producers Chemical to come from Batavia into Sugar Grove into one of our business parks. We worked with Scott Industries to have them add 90,000 square feet to their building instead of them relocating to another state. For the future, we also passed a referendum on electric aggregation to reduce the electric rates, and we passed an ordinance banning synthetic marijuana to make our town safer. For the future, I'd like to continue to work on the I-88 Route 47 interchange to bring in additional commercial development to help diversify our tax base further. I'd like to also work with Kaneland School District on an intergovernmental agreement on impact fees to make sure that new development pays for itself. And I'd like to bring fiber optic service to the community to make our businesses competitive so that they can compete with the rest of the area. I believe I have the passion, the vision, and the experience to make Sugar Grove a better place to live. Please vote for me on April 9th. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes that portion of our program this evening. I'm now going to hand the microphone off to Bo Smith of the Elburn Herald, who's going to serve as the moderator on our question and answer sessions. So please stay for that. All of the candidates have been encouraged to stick around after tonight's event is officially over. Downstairs, they will be available to speak with and talk to and learn more about them. So I encourage all of you to stick around as well to meet the candidates informally downstairs after the program. And now here's Bo Smith.
I am Bo Smith with the Elburn Herald, and we're very glad that you're here tonight. We thank you very much for taking the time. We're now going to have the forum part of our event. We would ask that, in the interest of time, you hold your applause and your comments, please, until the end. We will have the candidates for village trustee, village president, and township supervisor, and they will each answer all questions posed. There will be a random order for replies with a 2-minute time limit that was determined earlier tonight by a drawing. So we're going to start with the township supervisor candidates. person that drew the first question was Kurt Karras, and the way this is going to work is that after the person who drew the first question, it will go to the next person to the right. So then it will be Mr. Jessman and Mr. Davis and so forth, and come back around to Mr. Rowe. Mr. Karras, how do you intend to fill the role of Township Supervisor, and what skills do you bring? You have 2 minutes.
First thing I'd like to do is, I'm a nuts and bolts type of guy. I would go in and look at the current computer system and the records to see if they're giving us the information we need. If they didn't, I would make the system work so we can get efficient information. I would meet the trustees, try to develop relationships with other organizations in the community. With the information we had, we could make much better decisions on how to help Sugar Grove in the future. I have a business background. I haven't done a lot in the governmental area as far as Sugar Grove, besides volunteering for coaching kids in athletics and Cub Scouts. But I do have the background to do it, and I'm looking forward. Actually, I like solving problems, and I think that's one problem I can solve with the accounting system and use that to take Sugar Grove forward to the future.
Yeah, I've been in, is it too loud or feedback? Okay. The accounting is certainly an issue we've struggled with, and collectively we've all made a lot of strides in improving that area. It's also bringing in the road district. It's making sure the community house, kind of under our watch, is involved and have their needs met too. The senior center is important, and just the overall workings between the government bodies. It takes someone, you gotta make it part of your job. You have to look for the work. If you don't want to show up and you don't want to participate, it's probably not the job for you. Our meetings don't have a lot of attendance at them. A lot of people don't really realize that the township government's one of the oldest forms in Illinois. It'll meet your needs where a village may not. We're still very much a rural community that, you know, snow plowing, gravel on the side of the roads, all those type of things need to be addressed. And you have to know a lot of the people in the community. You know who's on the village board, you know who's part of the road district, you know who's on the drainage districts. You know, our assessor works very hard for us, and realizing how her role functions and how the county impacts or limits what may or may not be done at that level. I think our levy's too high. I'd like to lower it. I don't see us having the need for the amount of money the township takes in. We as a board collectively reduce the supervisor's pay to make it from 28,000 to 18,000, so that we would take the job for someone that wants to be here, not someone that wanted the money or the prestige of the position. I think all the candidates fulfill that desire, and we want to be part of this. Thank you.
Now we have Mr. Davis. 2 minutes, please.
Hi, I'm Harold Davis. What I would like to do is extend on what we've done over the last 3 months, and that's getting more involvement in and out of the trustees, sharing the information ahead of time. So when we get to meetings, you've already read the package. You have some clue what you're going to talk and discuss, and we don't have to spend all night reading information. You know, so first and foremost is get the information out there to the people so they can make a good, valid decision. Secondly, work better with the other taxing bodies in the area, the village, the county, everybody, because I don't think we've been very effective that way. We've duplicated a lot of efforts at times that maybe we didn't have to, and because we duplicated, we spent quite possibly more than we should have. That means all the rest of the taxing bodies. So I think in general, we've got to learn to cooperate, and we've got to cooperate amongst ourselves so everybody as a whole gets better. There's no existing function that anybody foresees wanting to dissolve or go away. We want this building to prosper. Every event that we're sponsoring and supporting now, we want that to prosper. And there's revenues there, I think, today to support it without asking for more. So that being said, I just hope you all agree and vote for us in November or April.
And now, Mr. Rowe, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. As I mentioned in my introduction, I've worked in local government my entire career, and that means working for the taxpayer. I prided myself on the relationships and the partnerships that I've been able to establish over the years, because we can get a whole lot more done together than apart. I've already reached out with the library, the Park District, members of the Community House Board about redrafting a new senior center agreement to try to get more things going for seniors. The other thing I think we need to work on is transparency. Our website is relatively new, just got up and running late last year. I think we need to do more with that. We need our minutes on the web. We need our agendas. Possibly if you wanted to sign up, give us your email and we can send you information, that sort of thing. And lastly, to maximize usage of the 2 facilities. I think everybody's aware with the new township building next door, there is a senior center space there. And I think we can do a lot more with that. I think the community house is doing a great job with what happens here, but can we do more? So that's my agenda for the next term. Thank you.
The next question was drawn by Mr. Davis, so we'll start with him, and then we will go to Mr. Rowe. Mr. Davis, with the township's overall percentage of the property bill, it's really quite small, but it is still significant. What would you do to maintain services, such as those for seniors, while keeping taxes down?
Well, Mr. Jesman mentioned earlier, fortunately we're adequately funded right now. I don't see a hardship coming upon us. We haven't tapped into nest eggs that other organizations have. We haven't been as harshly dealt with some of the economic issues so far. Tomorrow could be a new day. So like I said earlier, I don't see a shortcoming in the funding as it exists today to stop anything. Like I said, we should be able to prosper and hopefully bring more people into the facilities and functions that we offer today, and hopefully bring on more. We've been fortunate that way, but that's part of what I say our shortage has been, because we haven't jointly worked with other taxing bodies that effectively that we've all been weak that way, and we need to get out and do more with the village, the county, the other taxing bodies, maybe even this building, to make sure that we're all taken care of.
Gentlemen, incidentally, if any of you need me to repeat a question or anything like that, just let me know, okay? Now, Tom Rowe.
Yeah, in terms of taxes, I think we're definitely in a position we can freeze the levy, maybe with the exception of mental health. As we all know, they continue to get cut at the state and federal level. I think we could look for other ways of revenue. Again, facility usage. I've had a lot of experience with rental situations, and between the 2 buildings, again, could we do more with rental income, possible sponsorships of the senior lunch program and that sort of thing. I think that's about it.
Now, Mr. Karras.
I know right now the township has a reserve, so we should work on that reserve, use that in the future, and look at what we need to operate with so we're not increasing taxes. Maybe we could even reduce the taxes. I know there's some taxes now that the township charges I think we could just eliminate. As far as seniors, I could say we should do this or do that, but I think the best thing to do is ask them what we could do for them. We have plenty of parks here. If we could get a bus them to a park, let them walk out there, look at the wildlife, that would be inexpensive and it would be good for them to get out. That's what I think, but once again, we should probably ask them. With the buildings here, we do have buildings we can use, just using them effectively and not having them damaged to bring in some rental income, that would definitely help. And that's it.
Mr. Jessman, 2 minutes, please.
So like I said earlier, I'm the fourth generation to be here. I've listened to my grandparents, my great-grandparents I did not listen to, but my mom still lives here. My daughter's coming behind me. I spent a lot of time in the coffee shops and listening to the farmers, the people that have done it before. You keep your ears open, you can listen, learn quite a bit, so we don't have to repeat their mistakes. I'd like to see the Boy Scouts from this building, the Girl Scouts, get to listen to the seniors. They can pass on their experience to the younger people. Maybe it's the gardening thing, maybe it's, hey, I remember when I was on the farm, I remember when I did this. It's important to bring it together at this building, at the Corn Boil, at any number of functions. We should probably have a booth at the township level at the Corn Boil just to let people know that we have functions, we have dollars for projects. We need to make it a worthwhile endeavor for our, any generation. I think we got a lot better board now. I mean, a lot stronger, like Harry said, a lot more involved, where everyone participates, everyone takes ownership of what we're trying to do. It'd be nice, to integrate that with the village and the other people. The road district does a good job, and the community house will be functioning a lot more. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of things we can do for the environment and other people. We just have to coordinate it.
The next question will start with Mr. Jessman. Are you willing to form relationships and work with other community leaders to benefit the community and residents, and how will you do that?
Building on what I just said, I think if we ask other townships, you can ask other assessors' offices, you can ask other road districts what they've done, how they've made things better, again, the mistakes they've made. There's no reason not to share the information. We don't have to reinvent wheels. We don't have to kind of muddle through. As you've seen with Rob Roy and the village finally getting together on Mallard Point, a lot of good things can come out of it. I'm on the other drainage district. We're talking about dredging the creek by Dugan Woods, and the township trucks will move the material to a farmer who donated his ground. I cut the trees down behind the driving range for the drainage district, no cost to them. There's a lot of things we can do to make it better. It takes participation, though. Aurora has their own issues, the township, and other ones are a little more in our same boat, Big Rock, et cetera. But between the websites, between technology, even the county has meetings for the townships, which give us an opportunity to share what we have and haven't done collectively. So between technology and communicating, we can make things a lot better.
Mr. Davis, 2 minutes.
Thank you. Just to add on to what Scott just said, we got to get out and get in the trenches with these other boards, other businesses, other taxing bodies, learn what they've done right, learn what they've done wrong, share our experiences with theirs. It's not rocket science. The wheel's already been invented. We all follow the same paths. If we learn by their mistakes and share our mistakes with them, hopefully nobody will repeat them. If we coexist together, we can do an awful lot more with a lot less money. So that's the biggest challenge, getting out there, coexisting with people, partnering with other taxing bodies. We'll all benefit from it. I don't know what the perfect answer is today because I haven't been in the trench long enough, but we're sure not going to be heard if we don't get out there and beat the drum a little bit. So challenge is out there, guys. Come and see us and tell us what you need, because I don't think we've necessarily done everything that needed to be done in the past, and we're more than willing to work with you. So if you know of something, see it, bring it to the table, send it email, web page. Our meetings are advertised. Please come and be a part of it. Thank you.
Mr. Rowe.
To add on to that, I think one of the first things I would do is, as supervisor, then is meet with the other governmental agencies in town and some of the nonprofits. I know Sean and Kevin both, and I feel like I can work very well with them. I also have had good communication with, we're all members of the Township Officials of Illinois. So as the clerk for 12 years, if we ever had a question on a technicality or what do we do in this situation or that situation, I've had open dialogue with the executive director there. And when in doubt, we get the right answer. I'm not here to certainly make any promises of what we're going to do. Along with what the others said, I want to listen to the residents. What do you want your township to be? And again, I've always prided myself on, being a good listener. I'm organized. I'm a detail guy. Things will not slip through the crack. So that's about it.
And Mr. Karras.
I think that question's pretty much a dead dog. I would start with the nuts and bolts, like I said before, learn our own operations, and then ask questions of other organizations and our community of what we can do better for them. But first you have to have your own house in order.
That concludes the questions for the township supervisor candidates. Now we will move to the village trustee candidate. Thank you. Good luck. The first question will go to Ms. Deja Schultz. What are the biggest issues in this race, and how do you differ from the other candidates on them? You have 2 minutes. What are the biggest issues in this race, and how do you differ from the other candidates on them?
I think that the biggest issues in going out and talking with the residents in Sugar Grove is that people want to see growth within the community. I personally don't only want growth, but I want to see responsible growth in the community. That means businesses that come that are good for our community. I think that I bring the knowledge and experience of business as well as working within the community. I have been actively attending the village board meetings for over a year and a half now, and I think I'm very versed on what the issues are and who the players are and what residents come out and speak on those, and I would like to see the village, as I think all of us would, move forward in a positive manner that's good for Sugar Grove.
Ms. Landorf, you have 2 minutes.
I agree with Gail. I believe that growth in our community, commercial and industrial growth, is important. We've done a good job, but I think we could do better working with the companies that want to come here and move into our town and open businesses, and I think we need to do that. I think open and honest, accessible government is important as well. Like I said, putting a website out there so residents who cannot get to meetings can view and see why the board votes the way they do. And I think that a way to do that would be to put it on the website. I think that having a place where residents can pose questions to the board so that the board can answer those and the community feels more involved with the board's decisions are two of the biggest topics. Thank you.
Mr. Montalto, you have 2 minutes, please.
Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. Some of the things that are facing us in the near future, the open and honest government is there. We do post our stuff the Friday before any meetings, so any topics are available on the web. We've improved our website. We're going to continue to improve our website and update it to make it even more user-friendly. As far as bringing retail and industry to the village, we've been doing that quite a bit over the last 4 years while other communities around us are struggling. Our staff is wonderful in attracting new companies. The problem is we're in tough economic times. Not all these companies want to pull the trigger on new things. We're at a point in our village where you need so many rooftops in order to attract business. People want the business, and the economy crashed. We're doing things to entice people to build again. We're lowering impact fees. We're working with other units of government. We're out there trying to get companies to come. And some of the things you've seen in town are that sustained, controllable growth. Those are good issues, and I applaud everyone that wants to do that. We are doing that. Other issues, we still have to worry about infrastructure. We're going to be working on looping Mallard Point to Settlers Ridge in terms of improving their water flow and their quality of water. We're going to be dealing with the emerald ash borer and replacing hundreds of trees in town that have been dying. We're going to be doing a number of projects like this. I'm pushing right now to start working on a lot of sidewalk repairs. We're seeing a lot of problems with sidewalks. We're going to continue to work on our roads and our infrastructure. These are issues we really need to work on, along with maintaining a solid, stable rating. We've got an A+ bond rating with Standard & Poor's. Many communities can't. Our state can't say that. We have been fiscally responsible, and we need to continue that so that it costs us less to borrow money to continue doing the projects we've been doing. Thank you.
And Mr. Herron, 2 minutes, please.
I agree with the issues for growth. I think that we need to be consistent as we deal with businesses coming into town. We've seen a lot of bigger businesses, some franchises come into town recently. I would like to see a little more growth with small business. 80% of Americans work in small business, so I'd like to see a little more growth there and more of consistency, like a sort of a packet of if you're a small business, if you're a developer, if you're a big business, so everybody coming to the table has the same packet to where we hand that to them, they take it, and bring back the information required. As I'm out knocking on doors, one of the other big issues that I hear from a lot of people in Sugar Grove is communication. I think that the board doesn't do a great job of communicating, and what that leads to is when people decide to come to a board meeting, they're at the point where they're at their wits' end and they're angry about whatever issue it is in their, whatever specific issue it is, they show up angry. And if we could communicate a little bit better with them through things like, one of the issues was accountability, like accountability through things like our financial report. It's like 157 pages long, and it's impossible for normal people to, without an accounting degree to understand that. And I think things like a popular financial report, where it basically takes the regular 157-page document and breaks it down into a 5 to 10-page document. So if we could communicate a little bit better with the people, I think we would avoid some issues at board meetings. Thank you.
Mr. Bowler, you have 2 minutes, please.
Well, just to address the accountability factor here, the village has been awarded the best accounting practices by the state of Illinois for the last 12 years. So I think we're doing a good job with that. Obviously, we have, I've heard other people bring up the fact that they want to videotape village board meetings. It's expensive. I like to see our dollars go elsewhere. If you would look in the Yorkville website, for example, watch their board meetings, I think you'd find out that last month alone they had 2 hits. People watching their board meeting. Month before, 3 hits. Month before, 1 hit. And only about 6 months ago did they have like 36 hits, because obviously there was an issue out there. I believe the village does account for what we do. Our minutes are on the website. We have not meet the candidate, but coffee with the mayor quarterly. You know, we're available annually with all the other government factions, and my phone number is listed in the directory. So it's not a cell phone you're calling, it's my house. So I believe that we are accountable, we're available, you just have to use the resources.
This question will start with Ms. Landorf. What is your position on video gambling in Sugar Grove and why? Will you honor the vote of the advisory referendum on it?
As far as video gambling goes, I personally don't gamble, so to me it makes no difference one way or the other. I know a lot of the communities are approving it nowadays, and I was at the board meeting. There was a lot of people, both for and against video gambling, that spoke out that night. And I wasn't exactly thrilled that the board decided to approve it before the vote, and I was really glad that they are putting it out to the residents to vote. I think it's an important issue in a lot of people's minds. I certainly would support whatever the residents voted, however they decided we should go with it.
Mr. Montalto, 2 minutes, please.
Video gambling is a very hot topic. It's a hot button topic, and originally I was the first one that came out against it. I came out against gambling in the community due to my 31 years of law enforcement background and some of the issues that gambling does bring. However, I was also the one that was the swing vote that changed our mind to go back to authorizing it for the American Legion. The only one in our community who's applied for it is the American Legion. There are specific guidelines as to what you have to be in order to get it, and there's only a couple locations in town that even could fit that bill. No one else has expressed an interest in it. The Legion, however, came to us and expressed to us that they were on their last legs. They were about to close their doors because they couldn't afford to pay their bills. It was costing them, I think the comment was $300 and something a day to keep the doors open. And they thought the video gaming may bring membership back in for them. It's a private club. I did not want to see the American Legion go away. I think we need to stand up for our veterans. I think we need to support them. I think they do a lot of good things for our community. And that's the reason I changed my vote. From the get-go, we had talked about putting a referendum on the ballot, offered it to the people, which would have made it a mandatory referendum. That takes a lot of time and energy and effort. They did not partake in that, so we chose to put it as an advisory referendum on the ballot. And I will go, and I said this from the beginning, I will go with the majority rule. I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other, but if we vote against it, we need to come together to find a way to keep our American Legion open.
Mr. Herron, 2 minutes, please.
Well, I'm a member of the American Legion, so I understand how important it is for them to keep it. And I'm also glad that it is on the ballot. So I hope that a lot of people get out there and vote to let us know one way or the other, because I don't have a stance, because it's up to the people of Sugar Grove. One of the things that I bring to this position is no preconceived, I don't have an agenda. I don't have any preconceived ideas of what will or will not work for the village of Sugar Grove. So if elected, if the people say bring it, that's the way I would vote, because it's your call. And if they say don't, I wouldn't, because again, it's your call.
Thank you. Mr. Bowler, 2 minutes, please.
It is a hot topic. I've looked at this as the fact that I'm elected village trustee to make some important decisions for you. If we're going to referendum over every issue, that means we're not going to make a decision in the village for 2 years at a time. So my personal opinion was I was in favor of going forward with the video referendum. Or not the referendum, but actually just voting on it. I did agree to go with the referendum because of some of the strong feelings that the community did have, and I will stand pat with their decision. However, I feel that we need to be business friendly, and I hear time and time and time again, the village of Sugar Grove is not business friendly. Well, it can't just suit one particular occasion. You know, if we're business friendly, we have to be business friendly. And frankly, if our community, our businesses are going to compete with those down the road, we need to have an open forum for them too within the village. So, you know, the referendum will tell us what's going to happen, but we'll see. We've got a lot of decisions here, and you know, people complain about taxes, and we want to help. We want to reduce them for you and go forward in the future.
Ms. DeGisoltis.
It sounds like we all are kind of in agreement. The fact that it's out for referendum now, it is a non-binding referendum, but if I was voted in, obviously I would vote with what the majority vote is on the referendum. So I would like to hear from the residents of Sugar Grove about how they want to weigh in on that. I would also like to kind of look at the big picture on this. So we're talking about the American Legion right now, which is something that's very near and dear to my heart. My husband's a veteran. We are American Legion members, so much so that when I saw something that was going wrong for veterans, I got involved in writing state legislation, so I have a passion for it. So going forward, if we did allow it, I would want to look at video gaming on a case-by-case basis. I did also take the time to go out and talk with the owners of the Blackberry Farm, or Blackberry Inn there, and see how things are going over there for her. She reports that there's no problems. I've been there a couple nights. I've seen like 2 or 3 people playing it. So I don't right now see where it's a real issue, and we have that large casino right in our backyard. So I think if people are really gamblers, they're not going to go over to the American Legion and gamble at 2 video game slots. They're going to go downtown to Aurora, where I would personally like to keep the gambling, but I'm certainly not going to vote against the American Legion on pretty much any issue.
The next question will start with Mr. Bowler. Given the current economy and need for more local jobs, what would you do to attract new businesses and retain existing ones in the village? You have 2 minutes.
Well, I think the village is doing a pretty good job as it is right now with attracting new businesses. Our community development director, you know, attends annually the seminars in Chicago to attract, to attract new business to Sugar Grove. We need to work with some of our landowners. When you consider some of the prices of land around Sugar Grove, they're going for what retail market value is in Naperville. When you couple that with the fact that we also have an additional tax, road impact fee with Kane County, it puts us at a direct disadvantage with surrounding communities. So what we need to do is we need to work locally with the fire, the township, to see what we can do to amortize some of our impact fees in order to work with the resident or the commercial businesses coming in here. I think that when you consider the McDonald's, the Walgreens, some of the other businesses that we've attracted here to Sugar Grove, it's because what we have to offer. It's because of our community, and you know, I think that in time and working with it, that we'll see that maintain good growth in our community.
Not so. Ms. DeGisoltis, you have 2 minutes, please.
Attracting new business to Sugar Grove. I would look at, right now, I am a huge advocate for bringing senior housing to Sugar Grove. I worked within the senior industry. The benefits from having a senior community in the village would be a huge asset. There's no big influx to the schools. They're great residents. I think that there's a lot of people that could benefit from having their parents right next door or a place for themselves where they grew up. They stay close to their churches, their doctors. So I would look at bringing in some senior housing, which I've been working for the last year with one of the developers of bringing in. And then I'd like to see some mom and pop businesses grow. As somebody who tried a year ago to bring a small business in, I'd like to look at how can we streamline processes? How can we make it easier? Are there any grants out there for us that we can look at about giving small businesses or minority business or women in business? What type of grants can we offer here at the village that can bring some smaller mom and pop shops in here? I would like to be able to bring another restaurant as well. Every time my husband and I go out, we're going to St. Charles or Aurora or Geneva. Why aren't we keeping those dollars here? I think we need to start looking more at that. And that would be how I would start going out and approaching bringing new businesses and new people into the community to see us grow as a whole.
Ms. Landorf, 2 minutes, please.
You know, I've been encouraged with the businesses that we've had growing in. We've got the Jewel, the Aldi, the McDonald's. We've got the new restaurant out there on 30, and that's wonderful. But again, time and time I hear that the board is not always easy to work with small, especially small businesses. I agree we need to bring stuff in. We need to look at ways to make it easier for them, make it streamlined, make the processes easier. I think we need to publicize ourselves as being such a great community. We're in such a great access. We've got 56, 88, 47. We'll probably see the 88 interchange come in. And those are all pluses for our town. We just need to capitalize on those.
Mr. Montalto, 2 minutes, please.
Well, we are working very hard to continue doing what we have been doing. If you haven't visited Runway to Galway, the new restaurant, the Irish pub out on Route 30, please do so. Wonderful food, wonderful family-owned restaurant. Last night I was in Genoa's Pizza talking to the owner, Joe, about moving into the old vet hospital next door to him and expanding his business to make a sit-down restaurant for Italian food. He might be interested in that. We have a property owner that wants to build another restaurant down at 47 and Wabansie, right across from Wabansie College's entrance. He's just waiting for the economy to change so that he can pull the plug on it. A lot of these businesses want to come. Our infrastructure, our location is prime for business. When the economy changes, you're going to see things explode. We have an airport, we have a railroad, we have easy access to the highway. We need to continue working on our access transportation-wise. We need to work on widening 47, keep working with the state on that, and we need to keep working with the other forms of government and funding the money to the I-88 47 interchange. Once that opens up, you are going to see things start to explode. I can pretty much guarantee that.
Mr. Herron, 2 minutes, please.
Well, I believe, I agree. I see that. As the economy gets better, things are, I do believe that they are going to explode in our community because of where the growth stopped a few years ago. So if we get the 88 exchange completed, we're going to have great access for people, for business. So I believe that at this point, we need to get ready for that. So we need to come up with some consistency. So it costs businesses money every time they decide to come to bring something to the board. And if we say, well, pretty close, but bring something back. If we had, or bring back more information, if we had a set packet for each size of business or development to give them for them to be able to fill out the required information and bring that back to us, I think that would prepare us for the growth that's going to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The good news for you is that we're running early on things, and so we'd like to make this more valuable for you. So we've prepared some additional questions, and we hope that you'll get even more out of this we'll add one more question for the trustees, and we'll add an additional question for the village president candidates. So we'll start with this question for Mr. Montalto, who hasn't had the chance to start first yet. Mr. Montalto, what is your long-term vision for the village? And if elected, what would you expect to accomplish during your term towards that vision? 2 minutes, please.
My long-term vision is to see the village continue its path of sustainable, controlled growth. I want to see businesses come that are going to stay, that are going to be able to maintain themselves. I want to see us work in harmony with the other governmental agencies like we've been working hard to do. I know, like with the Mallard Point project over the last few years, we worked real hard with the Rob Roy Drainage District, the county, the state, the federal government. These are all things we've been doing. Eventually, I have a long-term dream to see Main Street turn into kind of an old town, and I'd like to see the property grow out to the south of us, and that tie into that with possibly a railroad station. Kind of picture 3rd Avenue in Geneva, where we could walk shops, have coffee shops, have little eclectic stores to go into, easy access to the train for those people that walk down or that work downtown, and issues like that. We're definitely going to grow 47. We're going to continue on either side. It's going to be another road that there's no way around that. So I'd like us to continue with our ability to make that mold into the community we have now. So it's not a bunch of eclectic different types of buildings. Everything's going to flow well together. And the next 4 years, I'd really like us to work hard on this interchange at 88 and 47. I think it's key to growth here. And I'd like to continue to work on the neighborhoods that are half developed by having developers come in, instead of trying to build new developments, build within the ones that are half done. So we can finish those up and you won't have fields with weeds next to you, and all the sidewalks will be completed and issues like that.
Mr. Herald?
To start, I would definitely agree with finishing the neighborhoods that we have. I live in Settlers Ridge. It didn't get finished, and that's something that I would like to see finished. I would also like to see Sugar Grove continue to work with surrounding communities. We've got a lot of growth around us, and to work well with them is key. And the growth of business is very important, but the business has to be right for Sugar Grove. And right for Sugar Grove, I think, the reason that I moved here, and my wife and I moved here, is because Sugar Grove's a small town. We're both from small towns, and we want to keep that small town feel. So as we grow, growing is great, but we still definitely want to keep that small town feel to Sugar Grove.
Mr. Bowler?
Well, I look at this as goals, as more bow than anything else, and we do need to continue improving our Route 47 corridor plan, attracting new businesses, but yet maintaining our architectural design standards that were set 16 years ago when I first got on the board. We also need to, obviously everybody's talked about the Route 47 I-88 interchange. We're looking at a development right now that would be huge for the village of Sugar Grove, but we need to get all 4 ramps in and maintained. I'd also like to see about bringing fiber optic into the community. It's hard to grow some large commercial business in the community without it. And I think that, first work for the commercial area and then to the residential area. It's expensive. We're already talking to some a particular business right now to see what we can do, and hopefully something will come about from that. I also know that we need to work with our existing developments in the village. We've got 4 unfinished subdivisions. I believe that we need to complete those subdivisions, grow from within, not without, and try to maintain some of our open spaces by doing it. I guess the last thing we really need to do is work on our land use plan and long-term vision. Things have changed over time. We need to reevaluate that every 5 to 6 years. And I believe that the last time we did was in 2008, so we're due to it to start reviewing it again the next couple of years. It's expensive. We need to find the funding. I believe the last time was about $15,000. So With the economy the way it is, I think we could find it this next budget year, and hopefully we can go forward.
Ms. Deja-Strolz.
Some of my goals would be, as we all want, is growth, but my goal is responsible growth. So one of the things that everybody seems to be talking about is the Route 47 interchange at I-88. I am all about building the infrastructure, whether it's developing I-88 and Route 47 or widening Route 47. But before we do that, I think it's responsible of us to look at what the impact's going to be on the households in the community around there, as well as the businesses. If we're rerouting the business from the interchange at 56 there, are we going to lose some business, or are businesses going to lose business if they're just going to be able to get off at Route 47? So while I'm all for growing infrastructure in Sugar Grove, let's just make sure that we're making the right choices when we're doing that and make sure how it's going to impact everybody that's involved. Another thing would be streamlining government processes. So once again, the perception that I hear on the street is that Sugar Grove isn't business friendly. Well, is that a true fact? If it is, then as an elected trustee, I would look into that and see if there's anything I can do to assist and streamline processes to make us friendly for businesses, so the perception out there is, let's go to Sugar Grove. They're great to work with. And lastly, working on maybe communications a little bit better within the village. So I just know from being an outsider and attending village board meetings, I've watched other residents of the communities go out there who maybe are not as outspoken as I am. And it's very intimidating for them to get up and talk in front of that whole board of people that are there. So is there an easier way that we can do that for them? Can we take maybe online questions to them? Or maybe I've noticed, should the public comments be at the end where they've already heard the presentation and perhaps many of their questions have already been answered, but then they feel like they can have an open environment where they can talk maybe more freely with either the person there that's trying to develop the business or the board itself. So those would be my three main goals coming in as an elected village trustee.
Thank you. Ms. Landorf, please.
Well, my long-term visions would certainly be the access to the board meetings. I know, I go to the board meetings, I work in towards Naperville, and it's hard to get to a meeting at 6 o'clock. You come home, you're trying to get dinner to your family, trying to get kids' homework done, and it's awkward. I think that if there was a way for us to view them at home, I think more people would feel involved. I certainly agree with a questionnaire area, a place where you can send questions to the board. Growth, definitely we need to continue to see growth, whether it's on 47 and 88 or, a downtown area. I'm anxious to see a train. I think that would be a wonderful option. Having a train station here in town would certainly bring more people in. And make it easier for our residents who work outside of town. So those are probably my biggest goals right now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that concludes the trustee portion. We're going to switch now to the village president's race. And while we're waiting, just keeping you informed, you may not know that the Sugar Grove Chamber has been sponsoring a Meet the Candidates Night for 20 years. There's no other chamber in the greater Fox Valley area that has done something like that. So we are just proud to provide this to you as a public service. The first question for the village president candidates will go to Mr. Michaels. In 2011, the village voted not to renew the intergovernmental agreement with the Canelan School District. What is your stance on the agreement, and what would it take for you to consider re-entering one?
Well, as I stated in my opening remarks, I'm all in favor of the intergovernmental agreement with Canelan. I do want to clarify that is for new development that would be annexed into the village, new residential development. I think it's important because we need new development to pay for itself. Elburn and Maple Park have entered into that agreement, and as a full-time job, I build homes, and we pay the impact fee in other communities. Sometimes in one community, it's twice the amount that Keeneland's asking us to commit to, and we're selling more homes in that community because they have a good school district. So I think a good intergovernmental agreement means a good school district, and that's what sells homes and makes our community prosper.
Mr. Geary.
I'm not in favor of signing the intergovernmental agreement. I would approach the first part of this, that Sugar Grove has in excess of 20 years of available lots with a number of fees attached to those, and we have very few suitors for those lots. I do agree that the IGA has to do with new annexed land for residential growth. Sugar Grove has a 90% residential and only 10% commercial. Let me approach the solution here a little bit differently. I would like to see us grow our commercial growth, which brings jobs, brings other businesses and tax dollars, and not a single kid goes into the school district. So if we were able to create a balance, an 80-20, 20% commercial, we could improve, put tax dollars into the school district without putting a single kid there.
Thank you. The next question will be for Mr. Michaels. Did I get it wrong? Thank you. I apologize. Mr. Geary, transparency has been an issue in this race, and how open the village government is to the public. Do you feel that village government is transparent? And if not, what would you change? You have 2 minutes.
That's a great question. Transparency is a very important thing to me. I believe that the village is accountable to all of you, its residents, and the more that it can do to include you in that process. So no, I don't believe that the village is as open as they can be. Recently during our budget season, I brought up the fact that I would like to see our meetings live streamed on the internet. Not everybody has cable, unfortunately, or cable, but everyone has typically access to the internet. Even if they don't have it at home, they can go to the library and view the live stream or archived meetings. So I think it's important that the village basically gets our meeting out there to the public, to the residents. Again, we're accountable to the residents. The purpose of the meetings is to do the residents' business. So the more that we can include them, the better we would serve the community.
Mr. Michaels.
I believe the village is doing a great job. In the last 4 years, we've started email blasts to get information out to our residents. We've participated in the sign at the corner of Route 47 and Cross Street so people can see what's coming up on the agendas and what's going on in the community. We work with the newspapers regularly to make sure that we get press releases out. Our village clerk does a great job of getting press releases out. We talk to the reporters that come to all our meetings. We're even asked questions and then are rebroadcast on the radio. We have public comment at the beginning of the meeting, but to Gail's point, we also have it at the end of the meeting, so people, if they have heard something, they can comment on what was discussed in our village board meeting. I'm very proud of how active our village board is outside the village. We have Marie Johnson's that is involved with the boosters. Kevin's involved with the Lions Club. Marie is also at the Chamber of Commerce. Bob Bowler was the Lions Club. Rick Montalto's on the police committee. And Tom Rink was the Aurora Convention and Visitors Bureau. And I have kids in school. So I'm out, our whole board's out in the community where we can be approached. I like Bob's comment earlier that our phone numbers are published in the phone book, and people can always call us. Anytime I get an email, I make email requests or email requests. I'll return an email right away just to make sure that people are apprised of what's going on. So I think our board does a great job. We're open to suggestions, and we will take those under consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Michaels, with the demise of the Prairie Parkway, what would you propose be done to improve area roads with the federal funds that were appropriated? You have 2 minutes.
I have been working on this almost nonstop since the Prairie Parkway was announced that it was no longer going to be funded. I've met with Secretary Ann Schneider from the Department of Transportation at the state, worked with Congressman Holcren, Representative Cross, King County Chair Chris Lawson, who's here tonight, and we are working to get those funds reallocated to be spent on the interchange of Route 47 and I-88. It's been brought up a number of times that it is very important to attract commercial development. It won't only benefit Sugar Grove, but it'll also benefit Elburn, Kingville, and the western King County portion. If there are funds left over, we're working with the mayor of Yorkville and the Kendall County Board to get Route 47 widened from Kennedy Road in Yorkville all the way up to Cross Street in Sugar Grove. There's a lot of money that was allocated towards Prairie Parkway. Unfortunately, IDOT is committed to spending $100 million in Grundy County, which I think is excessive and not prudent. So we've been working to get that money reallocated towards the north end of King County and, or the south end of King County and north end of Kendall County, where 20,000 cars a day would be benefited versus 5,000 cars a day down in Grundy County. So we're working as hard as we can to get this money reallocated to the area that would receive the most benefit for the dollar.
Mr. Geary, 2 minutes, please.
I absolutely support any improvements on 47, whether it's the I-88 47 interchange or other improvements. My biggest concern is that there's available dollars, and it would not be a prudent thing for us not to go for the maximum dollars to do other improvements other than just I-88 47. If any of you have been through town either early in the morning or late afternoon, Route 47 tends to be a little bit of a bottleneck as you head south or as you're coming north in the morning. This money could be a life safety issue to resolve traffic issues there. It also, businesses like it when they have customers that can easily flow to and from. So again, I see these dollars very important to strengthening our infrastructure in the core part of town, and would really like to see as much money allocated from basically Kane County north, and if it includes I-88, that would be great.
Thank you. Okay. The fourth and final question is back to Mr. Geary. What is your long-term vision for the village? And if elected, what would you expect to accomplish during your term towards that vision? You have 2 minutes.
My vision. It isn't a Kevin Geary vision for Sugar Grove. It's a collaborative vision that includes every single citizen sitting here, citizens that are not here, but creating an environment where you have input into our processes. The village does not exist for its own good. It exists because you, the citizens, desire it to exist and to take care of the things that we as individuals cannot take care of. So my long-term view is putting in place necessary processes that includes the public. Quite frequently, I've talked to a number of residents while I was out knocking on doors, and they don't feel part of the village. They don't feel that when they come to a board meeting that they're being respected and heard. It's thank you very much, we're going to continue on with our business. I would strive to make our village the type of village, world-class village, that everyone's voice could be heard.
Thank you. Mr. Michaels, 2 minutes, please.
Well, the Village of Sugar Grove did undertake this project, and Kevin was co-chair back in 2004. We formed the CCI committee, the Community Cares Initiative, and we received a lot of participation from the residents. And at that time, we asked the village residents what their vision was for the village. One was to generate a park district, which we've done. Another is to have a firm that would help bring in businesses, which is the Economic Development Corporation that we've started. They'd like to see a downtown. At one point in time, we did have the downtown proposed by Forest City, so we're working on that. We have to keep moving forward, and I think we have that vision in place. We have our long-range plan that shows where we want retail development, business development, our train stations, things like that. We need to continue to bring in businesses and rooftops so that we can see this vision grow. A lot of feedback about maintaining the small town feel, so we're going to work on that. But I think right now we're working on a concept plan of adding maybe a horseshoe or a horseshoe just north of Jewel, where we could have some nice commercial buildings go there. Or we've passed the Main Street redevelopment project or plan so that we can envision how Main Street will work. We've met with Metra to try bringing out a Metra station out to the area. So we have a lot of things in progress, and we do take community input very seriously, and we did that, again, a number of years ago, and we're trying to reach that goal that was set, like I said, back in 2004, 2005. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. At this point, I'll turn things back over to Chamber President Steve Ecker.
Okay, well, thank you, candidates. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I wanted to say a special thank you to dignitaries, Kane County Board Chair Chris Lawson and Representative Melissa Taylor for coming out and taking an interest in Sugar Grove and the candidates. Thank you, Bo Smith, for doing a great job moderating, and the Elburn Herald for being a co-sponsor. Thank you, Tom Evans, for your excellent job as timekeeper. I need to notify the Academy Awards so that I can go to bed early on the Oscars and get you involved there. Thank you also to Ken Weisner from KRW Solutions and Sugar Grove Online for broadcasting tonight's program. The program will be available online at sugargroveonline.com, elburnherald.com, and the Sugar Grove Chamber of Commerce website. If you go to the sugargroveonline.com website, you can put in your email address and receive a notification when that's ready. And please tell your friends and neighbors who weren't here that they will be able to view this this evening online. Thank you also to our media partners, the Kane County Chronicle, the Elburn Herald, the Beacon News, TV 17, the Sugar Grove Informer, and the Daily Herald. And thank all of you for coming out and listening to our candidates tonight. There will be a continued meet and greet downstairs where you can talk to the candidates one-on-one. So thanks again for coming. Have a good evening.